if you just read the book directly, it may seem a little difficult. And here you can ask me questions if there is any difficulty. It's not exactly the book. I've given you additional things in your manual. All right? Because for a common reader, I couldn't give too much, but I felt that with you, I'm going to give as much as possible and leave it to you to absorb them. Right? So today we are doing the conscious mind. On the 22nd, Monday, we will be doing a very, very, very troublesome section, very important, the personal unconscious. Then we will be doing the collective unconscious and the deep self. These four constitute a unit now. Okay? As usual, feel absolutely free to ask me any questions in case there are doubts. We talk about the mind as something in the body. Where in the body? Where is it in the body? Where is the mind? Usually, brain. It's associated with the brain. But there is no entity called the mind. The mind is in every cell of your body, and it's not just limited to your brain. So psychologists speak of it as having two minds, the conscious and the, I'll tell you what to change, not just go back to the concept is very clear. Sigmund Freud called it as conscious and subconscious. Subconscious. We are not going to call it subconscious because we are not working with Freud. We are working with his student Jung, who took psychology into great depths and understood the human mind far better than Freud. But for some reason, Freud became more popular, much more sensational, talking about all your problems as being associated with your childhood, blaming the parents, going through hypnosis and all of that. Why do I opt for Jungian psychology? Jungian psychology empowers you. Freudian psychology makes you dependent to a very large extent on the psychologist. And since all my work has been in this area, I have seen the value of Jungian psychology. So one thing, we will not use the word subconscious. We will use the word unconscious. We'll come to it later, but why are we also not using the word subconscious? Because according to Freud, the subconscious is a garbage heap. Everything you dislike is in your subconscious. And Jung said, no, there are different layers of the subconscious, which he called unconscious. And if you understand them and you befriend them, then you grow tremendously. It empowers you. So this is very, very empowering. So two minds and barely under our control. See how small a space the conscious mind is given in your entire psyche. So that's why very often you say, I will do this at a very conscious level. But then something comes from your unconscious which sabotages it. And you end up not doing it. I will devote 4 hours to reading in a week, which is dismally low. But any which way, suppose you make that resolution, something will tell you, oh, but you know, you have to wash your clothes, and you have to message your friends, and you have to go out with somebody. All that comes from the unconscious. And it sabotages the conscious mind. Therefore, you cannot say, I'm going to work only with my conscious mind. You have to understand your unconscious. Is this clear? Up to now? Yes. Absolutely clear? So two minds and barely under our control. Can I say, for instance, that today I will that I'm not going to breathe? You'll be out, right? Today I'm going to tell my circulatory system to pump blood faster to my heart. It's not within our control. Never mind bodily things, even otherwise you don't know what's going to happen to you. On Friday I was walking to meet the principal of the school, and I got out of the rickshaw and my leg fell on a pen, a throwaway pen which somebody had literally thrown away. And I was thinking of this meeting with the principal. My leg rolled on it and I fell. And yes, I didn't expect that when I left home, did I? It happens. Life happens to you. As I said earlier, you can't control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond to what happens to you. Not react. Not react. Respond to what happens to you. You got the difference?
Yes.
And this section is for that. It's not because I want to give you my gyan. It's very, very important. Okay? Next. Our impact as individuals depends on how deeply we have plumbed our own psyche. To do this inner work on yourself, other people behave better with you. It rubs off on other people. Other people respond better to you because you reach out with genuine empathy. When I was reading what all of you had written, my heart went out to each and every person. There was no judgment, ever. Jung says something very interesting. Because thinking is very difficult, people judge. Thinking is difficult. Therefore, people judge. It's so easy to say, so-and-so is this, so-and-so is there. I've often said only jars should be allowed labels, but we label everyone. And we get away from it. And we think of them as external. We don't think of them as mirroring any part of ourselves that needs to be healed, which we will do now. So, our impact as individuals depends on the depth to which we have plumbed our own psyche. In short, it depends on the amount of inner work that we have done on ourselves. Okay? Next. Yeah, it's really taking time today. I mean, it's become lazy. Sit down. What did you do? You gave it a peg of whiskey? No? Oh my God. Okay, so this is Freud's concept of the mind, and he likened it to an iceberg. We are conscious only of that bit at the top, the apex, the tip of the iceberg, but see how big the iceberg is. Can you afford to ignore this and say, I know myself? You can't do that. Next.
Now, can we say our reactions are based upon our unconscious mind?
95%. I'm coming to that. 95% of the time, our behavior is controlled by the unconscious. Only 5% of the time is it controlled by the conscious mind. And this is not statistics pulled out from the air. It's what science tells us. Okay? What's happening today? It's extremely slow.
So, ma'am, can I also tell that my behavior, I am decided by this?
I'm coming to it. The unconscious is completely formed by the time you are around 9 years old, 7 to 9 years old. After that, your behavior is 95% on autopilot. And it's not a favorable autopilot most of the time. If you're with it, but when it remains unconscious, you're not even aware of it. Look at the word unconscious. So all of us are going through life being dominated by the unconscious and feeling that we can't do anything about it. This is the way I react. This is the way my life is. Yes.
So, is it that when we are in anger, we sometimes say certain words and after that we are like, I did not realize that I might have hurt you that much.
Right. Because something got triggered. What is that something we will do when we do the personal unconscious? Alright? But today we are doing something very interesting. So these are the levels of the mind. The consciousness, we are mainly going to deal today with the personas, the masks that we wear. Then we'll go to the personal unconscious, the collective unconscious, and the deep self. See, as you go deeper into the mind, the area becomes bigger. So that's why we say you can live your life with expanded consciousness. Instead of a blinkered vision, you live your life with an expanded consciousness. Change quickly. I want you to do this role play. Imagine, now we don't have time during this class to really sit and put you into tools and give you 5 minutes to do all this work. You can do it at home. Now imagine yourself giving a description of yourself. Person A, actually this is an assignment for 3 people. A group activity, you get into 3. Person A describes himself or herself in 1 minute. Okay? Do it some other time. Because here if I divide you into 3 and then each one is given 1 minute, then it becomes 9 minutes, 10 minutes, and by the time you get the feedback it's going to be... Yeah, so person A, person B, person C, and you change roles, right? So it becomes 9 minutes, and then reporting becomes even, we don't have time, that's the only thing. But this is a very, very important activity, and I would like you to do it. Do you want to do it any which ways?
Next time?
No, next time I can't, because I've got too much to cover. Do you want to do it just now quickly?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
What happens at 11:15 if I don't stop, if I go on? No, I wouldn't want to eat into your short break. That's okay. Alright, quickly get into groups of 3. Quickly get into groups of 3. So that you can move somewhere. Yeah, these 3 can be there. Sit down, you can use with them. Are you in groups of 3? Yeah. Okay. This suggestion is good. Let's do it only once because we'll understand the point behind it. Decide who is going to be A, B, and C. A, B, and C. Make it simple. Come on, quickly. A, B, and C. Alright? Now A will describe himself. Don't take it as a joke, please. Do it seriously. A will describe himself or herself for 1 minute. A, start. Start. Only A is talking. There's no talking. Only A is talking. Alright, stop. Please do this seriously, don't talk. Now only B will talk, and B will describe that same person, A, as a lovely person. Start. Alright, stop. Now, I'm sorry for this, but please do this again authentically. And nobody will be cutty with anyone else. Person C describes A as a nasty person. Say all the wicked things you want to say. Alright, you may stop. Okay? No hard feelings. It's been done as a process. Okay. People who were A, put up your hands. A. When you described yourself, how were you feeling?
Good.
Being yourself.
Sorry?
Being yourself. Like it was good.
It was good?
Yeah, it was good.
Okay, great.
I had one point. So, starting 10-15 seconds was easier to describe yourself, but after that, I had to think a lot about, okay, what do I say now about myself?
Alright, great. Yes.
It was
But-
somewhere,
okay.
it was
Yeah.
somewhere evaluating what I am saying, am I that person?
Right.
What I think I am.
And am I being authentic?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Yes?
So first we started like first you were saying all good things, then we started thinking like 1 minute we have to say, then we started our negative points like I can be like this also, I can be like this also. And after that, after some time when we are confused, we were repeating sometimes again and again.
Excellent, excellent. Very, very good. Remember all this about the A's. When B was praising that person, how did A feel? How did B feel? You felt? Love, exactly.
Butterflies in the stomach. I'd say I was a little bit surprised.
1 minute.
I was a little bit surprised and I felt a little bit of denial, like, okay.
Oh no, she's only saying it's because it's an exercise. It can't be true of me, huh? Okay, very good.
I felt not surprised. I did feel love, but I also felt that you never know how your behavior or your actions or your small acts can have a great impact and a positive impact.
Very good. Because very often, when people genuinely praise us, not because they want more marks, but when they genuinely praise us, we are so much in denial that we say, "Isko kya chahiye?" In your mind. Yeah? Right. Excellent. Now the toughest. How did C feel saying nasty things?
I knew that I had to get an answer.
1 minute, 1 minute.
So I knew that I had to get an nasty question, right? So when he was talking about him, my face was like, he said, "ये कैसा देख रहा है?" In my mind, I was like, yeah, I had made a negative bias about him. So everything he said, even though it was very positive, very nice, I was like, I was like, ये अच्छा नहीं है. What he said is not actually good. So
And you did his burai.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's very
very.
easy to do that.
Okay.
For me, it was more like constructive criticism because she's my friend. So I was like, okay, fine. I didn't really think that this.
Okay. Okay. Yes.
For me, it was very difficult to construct the
Yes, because most of us think we are very goody-goody. We don't say nasty things to people. That's why we have so much trouble. You have so much trouble because of your goody-goody image. I don't say nasty things. यार इसका feeling होगा, उसका word होगा. It's a process, for God's sake. Yeah, I'll come to each one. Yeah.
Ma'am, for me it was like a self-reflection that yeah, I might be like this. I
इसमें
might have
कुछ तो सच होगा.
I might have behaved
Yeah.
with her in such a way so that she
Very good. Yes.
You knew some parts of it, like you have these negatives, but then hearing it from somebody else, you do feel bad that, oh.
Very good. Yes. Yes.
Ma'am, she praised her. And
1 minute. 1 minute. She's saying something.
and I said the same things but with a negative tone.
Okay.
Same things. She said, you're too friendly, you become very friendly with people.
Yeah, you're overly
And
friendly.
I said, you're too friendly.
Yeah, overly friendly. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, very good. Anyone else? Yeah?
Ma'am, being a very good friend of mine for the past 3 years, just one point, but that one point I felt is something I have also analyzed and I want to work on it. So,
Very good. Very good. See how different the reactions are. I mean, I'm frankly with them that I find it very difficult to play villain, which you find easy to play. So you know what role to give him in a class play. Yeah.
It was because I've known it from 7 years.
I know that. I'm kidding. Yeah.
She is my friend, a very good friend.
1 minute, 1 minute.
Whatever, like we say,
Change to the next slide.
Yeah, Jackie should have not given me. Today she gave me in the task.
Okay.
I have been very truthful towards my friend. Anyone in my classroom, I have always been truthful. I have said it on the face. I know people feel bad. I do feel bad, but at the end, I'll understand that that person is going wrong in some way.
Brilliant.
I'll stop that person. and-
Brilliant. But your challenge then is to speak your truth peacefully and powerfully. And that is going to make an impact. I'll give you my own example. As a PhD guide, I've been a guide to many students, PhD, MPhil, MA thesis and all of that, India, abroad, everywhere. And there was one lady who came from a very rich home and she felt that she wanted that word doctor in front of her name. And I knew she was not PhD material. See, everyone doesn't have to do PhD. It's vanity to say doctor. What happens after you die? They'll admit you into heaven or hell if you believe in that. And say, excuse me, are you doctor? Please come. It's silly. It's vanity to say that because I want to be called a doctor, I want to do my PhD. And she frankly told me, I said, all right, I mean, I'm nobody to judge. Let's see your work. And her work was disastrous. So, like you, I very honestly told her that I'm sure you have other talents. I'm sure you're good at hundreds of things. I'm sure you're a lovely person in yourself. But PhD is not your forte. And she got so, though I said it like this, you know, she got so offended with me. She went up and she went to other guides, and the other guides happily took her because, you know, every time we have that, we can write in our CVs, I've guided 17 students, 25 students. So some other guide, for whatever reason of their own, I'm nobody to judge, took this lady on. And she arrogantly came and told me, you didn't tell me. That you told me that I was not good enough, but this lady took me on. I said, okay, God bless you. And I forgot about it. She would not look at me. She would just show anger responses. And I felt, okay, that's her thing. Her issue, it's not mine. It has nothing to do with me because I knew I had spoken honestly. She worked on it for 7 years and her thesis got rejected. And she had no face to show anyone in her family. By then she invested 7 years of her life in doing this. And she came to me one day and very humbly she said, if only I would have taken your advice, this wouldn't have happened to me. And I didn't feel good about it. I honestly felt empathetic towards her. I did tell her, see, I told you now. But she had already realized it. I said, it's the past. I'm sure there are other things you can do in your life. Just get on with that. And she said, I behaved so badly with you. I said, that was again the past. I don't love the past around. I mean, it's like a bag of shit on your bag. You just flush it down the toilet when such things happen. That's it. So being truthful is, and being courageous, because you need to be courageous to be truthful.
Yes.
You know? It's very easy to say, oh, I got a new haircut. How does it look? Oh, you look so pretty. It's बहुत ही suit होता है today and this kind of thing. If you actually feel it doesn't look nice, you can be polite and say, perhaps the earlier style is good enough. You're not being rude. You're not being nasty, but you're clearly conveying a message that this is nothing sensational. Very, very good. I'm glad we did this exercise. Okay. So now what we're going to do is, metaphorically, we are going to open 4 gateways to our mind, one after the other. This is the first gateway of our conscious mind. What we know. What we know. So that's why it's called the conscious mind. Our persona. Every person wears a mask to face the world. And you are just not the same person to the world as you are to your family. Right? Who see the more snarling side of you, the more angry, vicious side of you. So, to go back to our role plays, those who were A have the self-image, all right, which they are conveying. B is taken in by the personas and sees only good in that person. C is seeing the negative shadow side of that person, which is also a part of the person. So the point of the exercise was, you are all three. By you, I mean, of course, I, all of us. All of us are all three. None of us are angels without wings. None of us are devils without horns. We have both of them. And then we negotiate and we want to project a self-image. Got it? Got that? Is this clear? Everyone? Yes. The consciousness is experienced as ego-dominated waking consciousness, dreaming and daydreaming. Especially in lucid dreaming, sometimes you know that you are dreaming. And any which ways when you get up from your dream, you say, I know this was a dream. Now, we are not going to get into dream psychology and talk about which levels of the mind they come from. But there are certain dreams which are very, very significant and certain which are completely trivial. So, this is consciousness. And when we are daydreaming, we are also aware that we are daydreaming. This is part of the conscious mind. Yeah. Now, this poor guy has been demonized. The ego. Ego ko chhod do. Ego ko chhod do. You've heard that enough?
Yes.
Yeah? If we didn't have an ego, then we wouldn't have all these problems. The word ego in psychology is very different from the way it's used in popular parlance. In popular parlance, ego is a synonym for vanity. Iska ego hurt hua. Vanity. But in psychology, it is an archetype. Now, what are archetypes? Just understand this one concept clearly, and most of the things will become easy. I will repeat it later when I come to the archetypes of the collective conscious. Archetypes are something you're born with. At the physical level, you're born with blood and your nervous system and your arteries and your two hands, and you're born with certain desires for food, for drink, for sex. These are things you're born with. Similarly, at the mental level, you are born with archetypes. Archetypes are confused with stereotypes, unfortunately. Stereotypes are false, fixed images. But archetypes are like a container. Yeah. Like an empty cup. Your ego is like an empty cup. It's just a physical cup like. In it you can pour anything. You can pour milk, you can pour tea, you can pour coffee, you can pour green, pink tea, whatever you want. What you fill into your ego depends on you, nobody else. But the ego can never be annihilated. If you are in a human body, you may have heard thousands of people say that the problem is our ego. Just let's get rid of your ego. It's like saying let's throw away the cup with which I'm born. You can't do that. But you can change what you fill into it. Got that? Got that?
Yes, ma'am.
So can we do away with the ego?
No.
You can't. However much you do. Yeah, you can replace it with something more healthful. Okay? If you're used to having 17 cups of coffee, then you can replace it with something more healthful. Correct? But you can't do away with it. This is a misconception. So, to put it in a very simple way, let's just get back to that. Anyway, it's a big task getting back. To put it in a simple way, the ego is an archetype. Just as you are born with a desire for a mother figure, for a hero figure. We'll do this later when we're doing the collective unconscious. Similarly, we are born with a desire for our self-image. It's only those people who have left civilization, gone off to the Himalayas, and who can say that we are probably without our ego. Even that is not possible. Because then, oh, I'm meditating for 17 hours. That in itself is a thought which you have filled your archetype with. The greatest problem is when people develop spiritual pride. Oh, मैं तो पहुंच गई हूँ. I've done so much work. You know, I'm meditating for 4 hours a day. Wow. And others think, my God, I can't not meditate for 4 minutes because my mind monkeys around. And this person is meditating. You see what's happened? It's spiritual pride, which is worse than any kind of material pride. It's just replacing one thing with the other. So the ego is going to remain as long as you remain in your human body. But as I said, you can put more healthful substance in it rather than the kind of substance which would ruin you and ruin your relationships. Got this? Is this very clear, please? Any questions? Okay. Now, let's consider this very powerful process. This process I want you to do in total and complete silence only by yourself. When I say start, you start writing an answer to this in one word and keep on with one word till I say stop. Got it? Just wait, don't start now. So, the question you have to keep repeating to your mind is, who am I? Huh? So you may start first with whatever, you wish to. I don't want to kind of condition your mind. But one word. You are not going to write sentences, you are not going to write phrases. You're just going to write one word per line. Got it?
Yes.
And you will continue to write. If you stop, think of the question again, continue writing. Very powerful process. Let's do this for the next 3 minutes, starting now. Who am I? Can I help you? Excuse me, can I help you? Any clarification? Okay, right. No stopping. No stopping, no looking into your neighbors. One word only, not sentences. One word only. One word. No stopping. Right, stop. How easy was it? All right, how did you begin? I am an introvert. Okay, okay. Yeah?
I am energy.
Your energy, okay. Human. You become very jnani. Huh? Nobody wrote I am and your name first?
Yes, I wrote.
I did.
Nobody wrote I'm a B.Ed student? Now, I'm a better means better than whom? I'm only asking you to describe yourself. Then I what? What I was? I said one word. Better? What? What does it mean?
Ma'am, I started with positive things and everything, and then suddenly my mind started going to negativity, and then I started, I feel this, I feel that.
I noticed something that when thinking of something neutral or just factual about me, there wasn't much.
No, but I want one word.
Something, yes, that only. Good words, factual words, or something good about me. I couldn't find words, but when it came to negative, I had a lot of words. I couldn't.
Okay, interesting, very interesting. See how different we are.
Very honestly, I could not even write for 30 seconds, and I was like, I don't
That's being
know.
truthful.
I can't.
Yes, very good.
There were times where I wrote words like, let's say I wrote warm, but then I thought to myself, wait, I'm not, maybe not, I'm cold as a person as such.
Okay.
So then I wrote toothpaste.
Okay, yeah.
I know I am bad writing, but I could not think of any to write with. I
Okay,
said only good part.
okay.
I remember words which other people had said about me or something.
Very good, very good. Somebody else put up.
I wrote fighter, because
Fighter.
not as like fighting with the person.
Yeah. Okay.
Hardworking.
All right. So initially when you started writing, all the things that are you're barely conscious of, they came flooding in. And usually it is about the superficial things in life. Like your name, you could be any other name, right? Shakespeare said this. What's in a name they call a rose, with any other name will smell as sweet. So you start with, I'm so-and-so, I'm a girl, I'm this, I'm a girl, I'm a teacher, I'm a da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then gradually you find it extremely difficult to go on. Because I am bullying you into, like, don't stop writing, continue writing. So I mean, some of you may be doodling, that's a different thing. But you pretend to be writing. So what is happening just now? Something very interesting is happening. As you go deeper into yourself, you find that there are no words to describe yourself. As you are moving from role to soul, there is silence. There is difficulty because you've never met that part of you. And even that part of you, you've heard people describe it with adjectives which are coming back to you. But you have not done your own inner work. You get that?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is a very powerful process. Again, in a seminar, and I do this as a complete full-fledged seminar, even with the corporates and all, we make them sit two people together. This is a dyad process. Who are you? And the other person says, I am, and writes. And the minute that person's pen stops, the other one is looking and again repeating the question. There is no giving gyan, there is no chit-chatting. What? And you're not to do it for 5 minutes. And by then you completely dry up. You don't know what to say about it. Alright? Now, what we are going to do is move from roles to soul. We're going to dig deeper into ourselves. Got that? Alright? But our conscious mind has given us quite a few phrases. Yes?
Ma'am, I realized one thing, that when we were, when others, it's easier to talk about others, be positive or
Excellent!
negative. Be positive or
Excellent!
negative.
Yes!
It's easier to talk about.
It's so easy to be judgmental. And she's such a nice girl. If you're determined that your friend is nice, you only see the nice things of that friend. If you are determined that that person is vicious and mean, you only see meanness in that person. And anything and everything. And says, come and eat. What is her agenda?
But it's not good.
You know? Now, we're not talking about good or bad. We're just saying this is the way the mind works. Now, we are in these sessions only interested in the and this is not how your mind works versus how my mind works. This is human nature. So unless we understand it, we cannot control it. If you don't understand it, you can't control it. It's as simple as that. Your views, your thoughts are made up of something called the pre-conscious, which is memories. Now you're not conscious of all your memories at one go. They are filed away somewhere. And when there is a trigger in the external environment, that memory jumps in. Correct?
Yes.
You've experienced this? Or can you say, all my memories are there? My God, your head would be totally crowded. There would be a traffic jam. So memories that can be easily accessed, or our easy awareness of the mask we wear to face the world. In ancient Greece and in even our dance form Kathakali, masks are used very, very extensively. We are not what we are. And we men and women mere players. We are aware of them. He's wearing a mask, he's wearing a mask. I'm very truthful. You may be truthful, but you're still wearing a mask. By virtue of your humanity. Got that?
Yes.
Right? Okay. Now. You're challenging my patience. Perhaps that's the shadow side of me that I things jump on. Okay. The persona constitutes, our mask constitutes a very major part. So now I'm going to deal with the persona. There are thoughts, there are feelings, there is pre-consciousness, there is perception, as we saw in the earlier slide. But those are evident. What is not evident to us are the masks that we wear. Okay? We are encouraged to don masks, don as wear, by our parents, peer group, and the culture we live or move in. Now, right from the beginning, nothing good or bad about it, again I'm saying, for a certain way in which society needs to function, we need to have parents tell their children, even if you don't like that auntie, don't say that, be polite. Now, if politeness becomes prioritized, what gets pushed into the unconscious? Honesty. And then you feel that, no, I can't be really honest with people. That becomes a way. I'm just giving you one example. Then, what kind of mask will you wear? Of being a very polite person. Yes? Alright? But it's a mask. Awkward. Does it make you feel an outsider? What happens? When you look at people who have undergone all these cosmetic surgeries and all, you find that people look so similar these days.
Yes.
Everyone wants to wear their hair in a certain way. very often if they are middle-aged or my age and they go in for Botox or anything, they have that very surprised look on their face because of all which has been pushed up. So, I mean, your individuality, I mean, you find the way you are, but no, your peer group will also tell you. Worse still, when it comes to habits which are self-sabotaging, smoking, drinking, substance abuse, how quickly you get into them because you actually initially want to feel that either because you're feeling terribly depressed and you feel that's the only way out, or you feel that you have to do it to be part of the in-group.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay? Now, if the in-group is wanting that, I mean, I was in college once upon a time, and yes, smoking was very much in. And I had just made a rule, not because I was a good girl, but because I just knew I didn't want to. So when anyone approached me saying, just take a fag, I would turn around and say, oh no, I'm asthmatic. I'll kill myself if I do that. You see, there are ways in which you can get out of it. And if they say that no, then you don't be our friend, you don't get into our group, okay, so be it. So be it. I'm okay with that. And I laugh and say, I can't kill myself because of you. There are ways to get out of it, but that is when you are strong and you know your mind. But if you are already in a state of depression and you feel, okay, let me clutch onto this, maybe, as Father Joe Pereira, who's got the Padma Shri for having done the maximum work with drug addicts, says, the very first puff or the very first time you take any kind of drug is a pronouncement of your doom and struggle. Because then so much of struggle has to come in only to get out of that. Or ruin your life. So a lot is done because of peer pressure. You know that some people are not very loud-mouthed, but because society is saying, now I'm coming to the third, that everyone has to be very articulate and very vocal and talk a lot and not be an introvert, it's rubbish. If I'm an introvert, that is my personality. And you jolly well respect it if you want to be my friend. Or go your way. I mean, my son is a terrible introvert. He just says very little. He's brilliant at everything he does, but he talks very little. And I've actually had people come and say, oh, you are so highly articulate, why don't you get him to talk? He is witty, he can be funny, he can play with words, he can do all kinds of things, but only with people he's comfortable with.
Yes.
And that's okay. I never pressurize my son to be at all like me. I don't want a photocopy. I mean, what is, again, you see, there is a kind of hubris, a kind of what I'm filling into my ego cup, that he should be like me. And even as teachers, we're unconsciously doing that. When we are saying that my interpretation to a poem or to a lesson or to a way I look at it is the way everyone else has to do. That's the ego. That's what you fill into your cup. Are you getting that?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you are by nature an introvert, and if you're forced to be an extrovert, oh, you're going for your studies to America and then everybody's so loud-mouthed, yuck, I don't like that. But any which ways, you pretend to be that, you become inauthentic. You irritate people because immediately, somehow people sense this is not the real you.
Yes.
And you become loud-mouthed. And people say, oh my God, why doesn't she shut up? And she'll be happier shutting up. So we're constantly being pressurized into being what we are not choosing to be. Alright? Do you see this mask that that person is wearing? Yeah. So, disillusion. Now, can we live without a mask? No. No. But we need to consciously choose that healthy masks that we are wearing. I suppose I'm feeling very, very down and out today, and I come stand in front of you for the rest of the whole session because I'm feeling very down. Even if I'm feeling down, I will wear a mask. I will choose a mask and be animated and teach, even though I'm not feeling like it. So that's a healthy mask. But when can you do this? When you are aware that you are wearing a mask. Correct? If you are unaware, there is a problem. Okay? Next. Of course, we should wear as few masks as possible. It all comes in slow motion. Is that done? You want to create a dance on that? So how do you choose healthy masks? Now this is something you may find difficult initially. It's not difficult. Get that idea out of your mind. The diagrams will make you feel it's difficult. It's not. Okay? Yeah. What are the characteristics of a healthy persona?
Question mark.
We are all hanging on a question mark till it turns. A mask must express, leave it this way if it will move faster this way. You think it will move faster this way? Yeah, then, okay. It must express a person's true individuality. I gave you the example of an introvert, right? Don't write, I've given you the summaries, I've given you everything in your manual. Just concentrate here. That's why the manual was not given to you before this session. Faked personas make us feel inferior, inauthentic, and unhappy. Then, healthy personas are possible. Now, this is a thought which requires some understanding. Healthy personas are possible only when we work with our main functions and not our inferior functions. Now, what are main functions? What are inferior functions? We'll work on them. Perfect. All right. According to Jung, we mainly operate as thinkers or feelers, sensates or intuitives along this kind of cross. This is a paradigm. Of course, I'm not asking you to think that you can be nothing more than this. You can be all of these. At the age of 22, when I was doing my B.Ed, and a psychologist had come testing this, the psychologist said you don't fit in anywhere. Because all my functions, I had a certain kind of upbringing. Usually what happens, and in most families, thinking is prioritized. If thinking is prioritized and you have males and females in the family, whom is feeling given to and whom is thinking given to?
Feeling to women, thinking to men.
That's a stereotype.
Stereotype, yes.
Got it?
Yes.
That's a stereotype. Because these all functions are all within us. There cannot be a guy who doesn't feel.
Yes.
But when you are bringing up a boy, you're saying little boys don't cry, which is ridiculous. You are giving girls the dolls and the tea sets because it's all feelings, it's all caring, serving a cup of tea, cooking for somebody. Why can't guys do that? Women cook, but guys become master chefs.
Yes.
Interesting. Very interesting. So those are stereotypes. Got it?
Yes.
So all of us are thinkers and feelers. All of us are sensate. Sensate is when you take in the world based on your five senses. Okay? Sensates. And others work with their sixth sense, which is intuition. Okay, got it? Have you understood this diagram? Because this is going to form the basis. Thinking, at the other end of the pole, feeling, then sensation and intuition. The functions of the consciousness are, bring in these words quickly. Perception related and evaluation related. So perception, how you perceive the world, is going to be determined whether you are more of a sensate or more of an intuitive. Your evaluation is going to be based on whether you are more of the thinking type or more of the feeling type. It's not either or. It's only a difference in degree. Got that? Now look at the diagrams. Yeah. When a particular quadrant is completely clear, it means this is your strongest point. This is in your conscious mind. Alright? Which is the second, which is good for this person? Intuition is the strongest. So the word, sorry, go back. Intuition is the strongest. No, this is much later. This is the thinking intuitive. Earlier diagrams. They are all similar. Yeah, after this. Yeah. Here, this person is a sensate. So the word sensate will come here. Which is the one which is also quite good? Thinking. Only a little part is in the unconscious. This part represents the unconscious. This part represents the conscious mind. So, this person is a sensate thinker. Which of the functions are not well developed? Sensation, so intuition is not well developed. Thinking, so feelings are not well developed. So such a person, a sensate thinker, would find it very difficult to articulate his or her own feelings. Because feeling is in the unconscious. Now I'm going to use another word for it, is in the shadow. Okay, have you got this one right? Now you tell me the others. Next. Do it with that. Do it with that. Now what happens? Which one is the strongest for this person? Intuition. Second strongest? Sorry, thinking. Thinking is the strongest. And the thinking intuitive. Which functions are poor and not well developed? Thinking, so feeling is completely in the unconscious. So you very often feel that, and this is true of a lot of men, because they are not encouraged to talk about their feelings. They find it very difficult to do that, and it becomes rather disturbing also for people around. Now, if you look at Bollywood, look at the images of the heroes and how they've changed. I mean, once you had Shah Rukh Khan crying buckets, Kal Ho Na Ho or whatever, he cried for half an hour before he died in the movie. So, it's regarded as, it used to be regarded more as an aberration for boys to express their feelings, which is ridiculous. Now, of course, society is changing, and thankfully so. Next one. So this is a thinking intuitive. You've got this right. The strongest function you have to name first. Feeling intuitive. Alright? Next. So now, it goes on like this. You've got it in your manual, no need to worry. Understand this properly. Huh? This is really important because this will help you choose your marks. And this is not a part of my book because I didn't want to make my book very technical. I wanted it to be simple for the lay reader. So now, if you are an intuitive thinker, your inferior functions are sensation and feeling. If you pick up a mask, which is this, you will be inauthentic. It will be an unhealthy mask. If you pick up a mask which is in this, your superior function, it will be a healthy mask. Have you got this? This is really, really important. Yes. Yes.
Get the sensation part very well. Like in what I was able to understand, okay, if you're an intuitive person, thinker, feeling. Sensation, I'm not able to get it clear.
Yeah. So if we talked about how certain the way we perceive the world and the way we evaluate the world. The way we perceive the world is based on sensation and intuition. Now, if you are a very quiet, intuitive type of person who gets your message, so if you are that kind of person and you choose a mask which is constantly talking about how I feel this way, yeah, because other people are talking about it, it will be inauthentic. So you have to first understand what kind of person you are. And even for that, I'm going to give you a free test which is available on the internet. So just hold on. Have you understood this concept?
Yes.
So all your marks depend on what you are dominantly. Now dominant with me, you have a very, very strong feeler is still a thinking intuitive. Right? So if I am a thinking intuitive, then I have to be very careful of the way in which I choose my mask based on this rather than this. If you choose your mask based on your inferior function, you are in for trouble. You will feel inauthentic and you will come across as inauthentic. And people will, for some reason, feel irritated with you. Have you got this? Right? Okay. So Briggs personality test, which is available free and it gives you have your scores, that's wonderful. Don't feel that you can't change. But intrinsically, for instance, you may believe that I am an extrovert because I'm articulate and I'm verbal linguistic. I don't like talking. Once I'm out of the classroom and all, I'm basically a very quiet person. I mean, I love fun, I love meeting people, but I'm basically a very quiet person. You wouldn't think that true of me. But that is the way I am. So I need my quiet time. I need my silence. That's the way I am. So if I were to say that no, because all these different friends of mine in the university, my other professors, they would organize parties every week. And I would be completely out of it. And they would misunderstand me. They would say, oh, she's a snob. Which was never the case. It was not that I was a snob, it's just that I don't like going to parties. I'd rather meet people I care for on a one-on-one basis. Or I'm just happy being by myself and my family or my dog or my plants or my whatever, you know. And that's the way I am. Now, if I were to pretend going to their parties, I would come out bored. I'd come out irritated with myself also. I mean, I wasted my time there, whatever. And now I have to call them home. That's not me. That's just not me. So I had to take a decision. And very early in the day, I had to say, this is not me. If you misunderstand, you misunderstand. So clear. But I have to choose my mask. If I would have chosen the mask of being a social butterfly, going on picnics, going on parties, I mean, that's not me. It's okay. So Myers-Briggs personality test is very, very useful. Okay, in that sense. Carry on. A mask should be possible to remove at will. Problems arise when we can't change them. There was a simple factory worker, a very poor girl, very, very poor girl, called Norma Baker. And people in the factory noticed that she was extremely pretty, and in all the photographs that were taken, she was very photogenic. So she became Marilyn Monroe. And then the mask got stuck to her. She couldn't get out of that to be the simple, normal girl that she ever was. So when you identify so strongly with your mask that you're even unaware of it, then you are in a mess. Then you are in a mess. Got that? That's the second thing. It should be possible to remove it at will. Imagine, suppose you are a high court judge, and in the courtroom everyone is saying, yes, my lord, yes, my lord, yes, my lord. You want to go home and you want to tell your kids, call me, my lord? And yes, all right, yes, my lord, no, my lord. No, you drop that mask and you take on the mask of a loving dad. Or a not so loving dad, whatever be the case. But you can't carry on that mask. Haven't you often also heard, at least I think if you're teaching for several years, people will say, hey, ghar mein teacher didi mat kar.
Yes.
Huh? What does that mean? You have not dropped your mask. Or that person is perceiving something in you which is making you sound very authoritarian. So we need to be able to remove our masks at will. How can you remove it unless you are conscious of it? Got that? Yes? Bored? Tired? Difficult?
Curious.
No, it hasn't been difficult up to this point. No? I'm trying to simplify it as much as I can. Yeah. Next. Do it with that remote. It's happening faster. It's not happening. Projector. Oh. Will it be sorted by Monday? Because I've got huge amount to cover on Monday. I've really got 4 major things to cover on Monday. And I hope it's not declared a holiday. Then you have the whole week, right? 23rd, 24th, 25th, and 26th is around. You come on 27th. Saturdays you come, right? So if we miss 22nd, if it's declared a holiday, we don't know. If it's declared a holiday, can I take you on 27th? It's also a healthy mask. A healthy mask. A healthy mask must adapt to a moderate form of conscious conventionality. Now, I may not choose to wear salwar kameez. I may not choose to wear saris. But I'm pretty okay in the way I dress, decently. But what would it look like if I came in with hot pink shorts and purple shoes? You will accept me, right? You think it's crazy. So some form of conventionality has to be accepted, right? A CEO of a company may have sold his Ferrari and he may have become a monk. Can you imagine coming to this workplace in the clothes of a monk? A CEO of a company. No. You wouldn't want that. Would you want a monk to dress as a CEO?
No.
That's the point I mean. a certain amount of conventionality. You can make compromises. Like when I joined Bombay University, I was told that your skirt and blouse and trousers will never be accepted by the department. And I said, too bad, because I'm not going to get all wrapped in a sari because I won't know how to get myself out of it. I'm so uncomfortable in it. I mean, it was just made to inhibit women. Also, I believe, in my cup. So I chose to dress in a certain way, and I dressed very decently. Nobody ever had a problem with me. Ever. So, a certain amount of conscious conventionality, right? Means to class. Not because it's vulgar or it's not, it's just not done. It's going too far, according to me. Unhealthy, stifling masks, unhealthy personas express our inferior function and manifest as addictive or compulsive behavior. We then fear them, dislike them, and what we fear, what happens? We project them onto somebody else in the outside world. We allow our masks to freeze on us, and we get trapped and smothered by those masks. No, the world thinks of me like this, never mind what I feel. You can't live like that. That's why it's so important that you know your inferior and superior functions to be able to pick and choose. It's like picking and choosing your clothes, right? For this occasion, I'm going to wear this. Now, if one of you is getting married, I'm not going to come in these clothes, right?
Yes.
So, I'm doing it consciously. The key word here is awareness, consciousness. So if you are aware of your strengths and your limitations, your inbuilt strengths and limitations, then you can choose the masks you wear. Otherwise, these unhealthy masks make you feel angry, inauthentic, your behavior manifests as addictive, and you project it onto other people. Right? So, now, one last slide, I think. The exercises for this are exercises I would strongly recommend that you do. They are in my book, and I've given the page numbers as well. Amplified Living. Because this is your self-reflection. The work that we can't do in class and which is necessary, I've taken away the note-taking from you because I've already made the summaries in the manual for you. So please do these self-reflection exercises. Look at chapter 6, which is called Day 6, How Aware and Authentic Are We? That is the chapter title. Go to pages 51 and 53 and do that self-reflection exercise in another book, in a new book. Or let's decide now to make life simpler. At the end of printing your manual, you could also have a few blank pages and do it there itself. Yes. So that people don't come up with one small diary like this and a big diary like that or anything. Yes. So I would recommend that for each of these units, leave 2 pages. So 2 blank pages would come to 8 blank pages when you print out the manual that Siddhanta sent to you today. Clear? Okay. Anything over here which is unclear? Okay, I want to help you with this exercise. In the book, I have the last one. In the book, I am asking you to identify the masks. So, alright. So, I'm telling you, list 5 of the masks you wear. Now, first, become conscious of the masks you wear. All of us wear masks. Yes. So one of the masks that we teachers very unconsciously also like to wear is the mask of Miss Know-it-all or Mr. Know-it-all. If somebody asks you a question and you don't know the answer to it, you'd rather fake it rather than admit that, I don't know. I really don't know. Because somehow you feel that will make people judge you and look upon you as inferior. Alright, that's a mask. So suppose I don't know why it happened that way. At Tony Nagar's, I asked a question, and I can't tell you how many people came up to me and said, very clever question, what was it about? And I thought to myself, very clever, I didn't do it to sound clever, I wanted to know his perception, because I know the Vedanta perception. I know the Vedanta perception of unmanifested and manifested. But I wanted to know if science had done something about it. And he didn't seem to be able to answer that, you know. And that's okay, that's all right. But it was a genuine question, not because I wanted to show that I was smart. That was not it, at all. So, if I did it with that intention, it would be to reinforce the mask. Oh, my students are sitting back, huh? They'll think I'm a gyani. Mask. Got it?
Yes.
So, that is a statement. The statement could be anything. The statement could be a very truthful statement of, do you know about consciousness or something? Implication, oh my God, I'm expected to know about it and I don't. So the mask I wear is, I can fake it. Yeah, but there are so many discrepancies in this consciousness studies that I don't take that work seriously at all. Finished. That shows, what are you trying to fake? That you have gone into it, studied it, and then disregarded it, which is not the truth. So then, in this book and in the exercise, you have fun doing it. Suppose, the example I gave you, little boys don't cry.
Yes.
Now you tell me, what is the statement? This is a statement, little boys don't cry. What is the implication? Yeah, boys don't show feelings, otherwise they are regarded as sissies. And the mask that you force somebody to wear is? The mask of being superhero. Yeah. Very manly, very macho. That's it. Suppose I say, being my granddaughter, how can you dress like this? Being my granddaughter, I don't know what she'll dress like, she's 3 years old. Now you do the implication. What am I implying? What's happening here? Sorry?
Trying to imply that what you are doing is correct.
Yeah, and something else?
That she is not good enough the way she is.
Yeah, something else? Yes, so my status is not permitting you to dress like this. So, whose problem is it?
Yours.
Got it. Right? Okay? So, you'll have fun, but do this before you come next time.
Yes.
Honestly? Okay. And I think, who said she'll take down the names of Yeah. You'll take down the names of people who want the physical book, because then you can first do it in pencil, keep rubbing it out, and then see how you've changed later. So you'll have to tell me how many books to bring next time, if at all there are any.
I'll send you the Siddhant, like I'll send it to Siddhant, he'll send you the Lisbeth one.
Yeah, just tell me, but you can send it to me directly. Huh?
Okay, I'll take it.
Just include me in the group, whoever is doing it. You don't have a group? You don't have a WhatsApp group?
We have.
I'm also on Telegram.
We have a group in general, so that's like.
Okay, or you can just message me how many. Huh? So just take down the names of people who want it. Alright? So thank you very much, and I hope to see you on Monday If not on Monday, then on Saturday.
How do we stop it?
One minute.